Hi guys, my name is Weedy,
And this is Bernard.
and we are Explore as we go. If you've been following our travels from the beginning, you know that we've been traveling full-time around the world since April 2019. We've been posting on our YouTube channel of our vlogs weekly, but we're a little bit behind. We are taking this special break from our regular programming to share with you some of the concerns about the coronavirus that has been affecting our travel plans.
Yes. So when the World Health Organization just announced that this is a global pandemic due to the COVID-19 coronavirus situation, the world basically goes into lockdown. Travel bans, travel restriction, cancel flights, basically not travel. A lot of our friends and family has been contacting us with a lot of concerns about how we're doing, how is our safety, and how is our well-being. So we just decided that this is a good time to make a special vlog to share with you and our friends and family about how and what we have been doing to combat this whole situation. It has been a really odd time not being at home right now because that is the most instinctive thing to do, but for us, we just made the decision to combat against that because priority for us is to avoid travel and avoid point of contact as much as possible so that we don't possibly bring the virus home by any chance to our families and friends.
Hashtag social distancing.
I mean, when you first think about it, the thought about travel and isolation really doesn't make sense. But for us, we have been spending 20 days in this beautiful island in Bali, ironically, in this hotel.
So the thought of travel and isolation seems pretty contradictory, but for us, we've actually been here for 20 days and we've been doing our best to stay away from the public beaches, the malls, and any place that there would be a huge group of people. The only time we've ever actually left this hotel was to go to the grocery store to buy some supplies or even the pharmacy for some medicine.
Honestly, this is really hard for us because this island is so beautiful and it's so much to do, but we're just really trying our best to be socially responsible, to not be a carrier for this virus, and also try to self-isolate as much as possible so that the world can recover from this. So just like the rest of the world, this island of 680,000 people is not immune to this pandemic. Just last week, the Indonesian government just announced a state of emergency, which basically means the entire country is going into lockdown. All foreigners that are short-term visitors can't enter this country without proper visa, which also aka meaning that they can't really enter this country unless it's for absolute necessary travels. So next question is, what about the rest of us that are still stuck here, that are still just tourists and visitors?
We actually have two options here. So our first option is to head straight to the airport, make a mad dash, and be on the airplane with all the other people who are leaving the island. They could potentially have the virus and we could potentially contract it, and that's something that we are not willing to do and we're trying to avoid. Our second option is to head straight to the immigration office in Bali and apply for a visa extension. However, according to our resources, they've been saying that the immigration office is completely overwhelmed with people who are also wanting to stay and extend their visa. Luckily, we have actually 10 more days, so we're gonna wait it out a little bit longer to see if we need to do it right away. And that way it'll give some time for the immigration office to kind of get through all of the applicants.
I think our mantra right now is just to stick to our guns, not panic, and stay informed, because the last thing we want to do is panic and be with a bunch of crowds and potentially be a carrier for this virus. And also, if going into the airport right now or any situation with a lot of crowds, it's going to be extremely stressful for us because we don't want to be stranded somewhere with no place to stay, and the last thing we want to do is catch the virus home. As situations like these we mentioned are extremely volatile, overnight the government can make changes to the law and things can change very rapidly. So our best decision right now is to stay away from people as much as possible and reduce contact. We already come to the consensus that if anything were to happen to us, the island here doesn't have the resources or capability to handle a massive widespread pandemic. So if anything were to happen to us, let's say if we catch the virus, we have already stockpiled a bunch of off-the-counter medications to self-medicate ourselves in isolation so that we can take care of ourselves without the need going to the hospital. If anything, for us, the ultimate key is prevention, and hopefully we don't have to resort to using these medicines.
The hardest part about all of this is that there's not enough testing kits. So we really don't have a choice besides self-quarantining and taking care of ourselves. A lot of the testing kits in Indonesia are going to Jakarta at the moment because there's a huge influx of people that have the virus. So we are in Bali, which is a little bit further away, and there's not a lot of testing being done here, so we're just being extra responsible by not going to any public places. So with all this extra time, we've kind of had to figure out what we wanted to do. Especially with people having to quarantine themselves in their homes, you kind of lose a sense of time and what you have to do. So we've been trying to stick to a schedule from morning until night to just kind of get us on task and make sure that we are staying proactive about the things that we have to do. So while in our hotel, we wake up super early, we go to the gym, and we make sure that we're extra precautious when we're there. We break down all of the equipment before we use them and then after, and then we come back to the room and we wipe down all of our phones and anything else that we touched, and even take showers right away just to get rid of any of the viruses or anything like that that might be on our bodies. Then we go to breakfast. Well, there's a lot of people at the buffet breakfast, so we make sure that we use our spoons that are our own. Obviously, we haven't eaten with them yet, and that when we are done with breakfast, we come back and we clean everything once again. And those are the only 2 times that we really are interacting with other people in a closer proximity. For lunch and dinner, we generally just make it in our room, and we have some great special college dorm room hacks that we do. Ramen is your best friend.
And eggs and oats.
Yes.
And we also constantly wash our hands because that's super important. We try to avoid touching our face as much as possible.
But I love to. I can't help it.
And if anything, we're really fortunate to be in Bali because all the news sources here are very well connected with the world. We have CNN, we have Fox News, we have Channel News Asia, so we're always constantly up to date with the latest news around the world and always stay informed about what's happening with this global pandemic. And the next thing you must be thinking, how the hell are we able to stay in a hotel for 30-something days? I mean, we're just also very fortunate enough to have enough points to stay at a specific Hilton property that has enough points for us to stay for up to 4 to 5 months. So...
I know. It's insane, but it's possible. If you click down below and subscribe to our channel, you'll find out how we do it. We're also putting it on our blog so you figure out exactly how to do this.
So that aside, expenses wise and in terms of food, it's all been taken care of. We try to minimize our expenses as much as possible, as well as trying to stay safe and isolated from all the craziness that's going on in this world so far. Which brings me back to what's happening in Bali tomorrow.
I know, it's tomorrow already.
It's tomorrow.
So crazy.
So tomorrow it is the Balinese New Year, which they call Nyepi, and if you translate that into English, it means silent day.
So they pretty much shut down the island, okay? It's no joke. People actually leave the island to go on holiday because you actually have nothing happening. They shut down the electricity, the TV broadcasting, and in some locations even the Wi-Fi. So
even the airport.
Oh yes,
the airport's completely
shut off.
down.
I mean, everything is shut down because they take this New Year so seriously.
So Silent Day is basically a day for all the local people who takes this opportunity to fast and to cleanse their thought of any distraction. So basically, like Weedy said, there's no TV, there's no internet. All the cell phone companies are shutting down their service just for one day, 24 hours, starting 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. So even the lights are shut off at night tomorrow. And it's just a moment in time where everyone just, take a break and social distance a little bit. and also, put our thoughts into reflecting of how we can improve ourselves and also finding peace and meditate for our spirit. So another question you might be thinking is, on Nyepi Day, what's going to happen to people like us? So for tourists or any visitors of this island, you have to stay inside your hotel. I mean, we do get certain perks, which, internet's still going to be on according to, our hotel. The facilities are still going to be on, the restaurants are still going to be open, so we're going to get food, but everything is just going to be operated in a very limited capacity.
It's all pretty much modified, so dinner ends at 7 as opposed to 11, and breakfast is still the same. Lunch, I think they've cut down on the schedule a little bit, and then they're actually even dimming and turning off all the lights, so they're really requiring you to stay in your room and actually even shut the blinds.
So basically, it's just lockdown for tourists to stay in your hotel. The hotel has made it very clear for a lot of the visitors that you cannot be outside because there will be local guards that might find you if they catch you on the street on the silent day itself. So in a way, Bali has self-instructed itself into a lockdown for just 24 hours to cleanse everything, thought, spirit, and also the coronavirus, hopefully. One thing I wanted to share as well is that before Silent Day itself, there are a lot of rituals and special processions that we wanted to be part of to share with you because they're so beautiful. There's just so much thought put into, setting up for success to the Silent Day itself. So one of the major events is called MELASTI, and I hope I'm pronouncing it correct. It basically means cleansing through purity and water. So all the local villages in Bali basically goes to the nearest water source, which is the beach or maybe waterfalls, to carry out ceremonies and offerings to the gods to help them purify their spirits and cleanse all the natural bad and evil, whatever, to bring in the new year.
And they usually do that at a really popular beach called Nusa Dua, which is actually what we had planned to go and witness. But like I said, due to the virus, we decided to opt out for our own safety.
Right. We also have been staying on top of the news that the governor basically had imposed very strict plans to restrict a lot of people from participating in these events. So I think this year, instead of the 10 to 20,000 people turning up at the beach to celebrate the ceremony, this year a lot of the processions are being modified into all the local temples. And I think there was only 2 or 3 beaches that were open this year that only had a turn up of 2,000 people.
That's still a lot.
It's still a lot, but we didn't want to participate in that because, as we said, we want to self-isolate, and it really hurts us because we want to share the joy of travel with you, but at the same time, safety is precedent over everything that we have to do right now. Another procession that's really popular, which is today, on the eve of Nyepi, which is the silent day, they call upon the demon OGOH, which is, they create these ginormous puppets and they carry along the streets down the parade to warn people about this demon that's coming on Silent Day itself, making noise to warn people about this spirit. So we're just getting a lot of mixed news about what's going to happen later tonight because the procession usually starts around sunset, around 5:30 till late. And it's going to take part in a lot of parts in the heart of Bali. So we're currently very near Kuta, which is one of the main major spots. Once again, like I said, we decided to go against that and not participate in this procession or the parade.
Even though it's about to start in an hour.
Yeah, I think it's just sad for us, but we just have to make the decision to not participate in it. Right after Nyepi, the entire island goes into a 1-day public holiday. So basically, it's 2 days of shutdown for us, and hopefully this might be, something better to combat the coronavirus situation. I don't know.
I mean, like we've mentioned in the beginning of this video, there's a lockdown happening, and just do your job by protecting yourself, washing your hands, staying away from people, and really just helping us out to flatten the curve, because at this point in time, all the hospitals are completely overwhelmed and inundated with people who are very, very sick, more sick than any of us with just a regular small flu. And I'm not minimizing what you already have, but just be extra cautious, because when you go there and you could be completely healthy, you could leave having contracted the virus. So we wanted to share this video with you. We know that it's a little bit on the downer side because we like to stay positive in our videos, but we hope that it brings light to the whole situation that is happening around the world, not only in the US or China, but also in Southeast Asia, and kind of share with you a little bit about our perspective and kind of what's been going on and how we've been doing and dealing with this to stay healthy and happy. Oh my god, I almost sound like Dr. Mike.
Right now, the island, even though it's in lockdown and there's a global, state of emergency happening, the island's still very calm. No one's panicking, no one's panic buying stuff. We've been to the supermarket a day ago. The shelves are really well stocked. The pharmacy is still really well stocked. No one's crazy over stealing toilet paper and stuff. So I just feel like with that spirit in mind, and also with Nyepi Day coming tomorrow, we just want to take a second and just not panic, stay calm, and just isolate ourselves for the next 2 to 3 weeks or maybe even a month, and just press the reset button, because I'm sure once this whole reset button goes around throughout the world, we will all be safe, and we want to stay informed and healthy. And that's our plan of action for the next 3 to 4 weeks until we decide where we're gonna go on from there, if the world is still reopening so that we can fly out of this country.
You never know, because
Right.
This is Explore As We Go, and we kind of just wing it all the time.
But it always, things always happen to us for a reason, and whenever we make informed decisions and not panic, we tend to come out much better off than making rushed and panicked decisions.
Yeah. I think this is a great opportunity to also mention that it's a time to reflect, and just think about the priorities in your life so that you understand what is most important. When we focus on making money and all those other things that are very one-side oriented, you have to think that all the other people who aren't making money or as much money are also very valid in our lives. It's full circle, and we all work hard to sustain each other. We're all community. Everything that you do affects somebody else. You may not know it, but you always want to do your best and protect yourself, but also protect the people around you and your community. So thank you for watching our vlog. We hope that you enjoyed this video and got a good sense of what we've been dealing with and encountering. And it gives you a glimpse of what it's like for us as full-time travelers having to deal with something as big as the coronavirus. As always, we really appreciate you watching. We love that you've tuned in and joined us on our journey around the world.
So we wish you to be safe and stay healthy. And this is Explore As We Go.